sight. Get what we need.
And this is this week's Classic Classic.
This is to all the little ghosts and goblins out there tonight. Have a nice and happy, safe Halloween.
Couch Classics. Oh, Tricia
Hello.
Hicks. What does the L stand for?
Everybody wants to know. It's a big secret. I don't tell anybody.
Spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Just like our
Just
show
like,
tonight.
Yeah. Halloween. Happy Halloween. That's coming up.
Yeah, this is the Halloween edition of Couch Classics.
Mm-hmm. We're even doing a movie called Halloween, but not first.
Not first?
Nope.
Yeah.
We're doing them in the order of the year they were made.
Excellent. So we have, in the spirit of Halloween, we have 3 scary movies to show you. We're kind of in this kind of scary blue. Ooh. Are you scared already?
You know, all the nighttime stuff have that blue tint to them in movies.
And all the sidewalks have just been rained on. You notice, how is it the streets are always wet at night in cities? I don't understand
I think you turn
that.
the sprinklers on.
Does it always just rain in a film noir movie? You go outside.
It does. It's required.
Yeah,
you have this checklist in film noir.
Yeah.
And rain is one of them.
Rainy streets, yeah.
The fog.
Fog is good. Actually, John Carpenter's Fog is an interesting,
I have not seen that. I've
movie.
Heard that it's a wonderful movie, but I have not had a chance to see it yet.
That's a lot of fun. That's a fun movie. It's kind of like these scary movies we'll be talking about today on the Halloween edition of
Couch Classics.
All right, so what are we starting with?
We're starting with George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead back in 1968.
One of the classics.
Classics. Zombies roam the earth. Apparently there's been this, it was a satellite to Venus and all this weird radiation has made all the dead people rise, and the makeup is what this is really good, noted for. But it's actually pretty good acting too. It's probably the most frightening of the 3. It's the most intense and the most, it has the most depth.
Well, you mentioned that you were telling me this was made in 1968. So just to kind of give you some perspective, the only scary movies they were really making, I think, in the 1960s, well, you had all your Japanese Godzilla and Rodan and Mothra and all that. And then you'd start sneaking in like the horror of Dracula, modern day Dracula things, and nothing like this.
Well, there was the sci-fi, The Thing and Them, and things
all
like
that.
that.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
This kind of veered off and got more down to earth.
This was the monster is the guy next to you movie. I think is really the first to make you, because before you'd go in your house, you'd be safe. Right? You'd close the door and lock it, you're safe.
Now you got the zombies beating on the door trying to eat your brain.
That's right. And there's no safe place in this movie. And I think this is really one of the first of those movies that took away any notion that any place is safe.
Well, 1968.
Well, in 68.
60s.
Well, it's drugs. 60s, everybody's using drugs now, and the war was still going on, so civil rights. It says a lot of social upheaval.
There's a lot of there's a lot in this that you can pull out of this, in the human dynamics and relationships and communication and things like that.
Yeah. Interesting that one of the heroes is an African-American man. In fact, it ends up being the kind of the primary hero, which is another thing that was new and unusual. So yeah, and there was no place that was safe anymore.
Nope. Well, why don't we take a look at the clip, and
All right.
we'll come back and chat about it a little more.
Great. Okay.
Okay.
See you after the clip.
He'll count to about 50.
There's not much sense in my going to church. Do you remember one time when we were small, we were out here? It was from right over there. I jumped out at you from behind the tree, and Grandpa got all excited, and he shook his fist at me, and he said, "Boy, you be damned to hell." Remember that? Right over there. Well, you used to really be scared here.
Johnny,
You're still afraid.
stop it now. I mean it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of here.
Johnny. Oh, no! Johnny!
Okay. Well, that must have been a scary scene.
Yes, it was. It's pretty intense all the way
I'm shaking
through.
now, just right here, just even thinking about this.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
It's,
Mean brother.
yeah, yeah. And I remember this kind of, it started slowly, you know, then all of a sudden you realize things have gone terribly wrong. And again,
And
you
it gets into it very quick.
yeah. And you're looking for that safe place, and again, you think the house is safe. And then you think, I don't know, the locked doors and the windows are all safe, and
Right.
nothing turns out to be safe.
Nothing is safe.
They're all over, they're everywhere.
They are, and they're only afraid of light or fire.
Fire good,
Fire bad.
fire bad. So, and George Romero, what else did he go on to do after
He's kind of known for filmmaking on the fringe. Cheating. I don't memorize all this stuff anymore. It's too much.
You're getting old. The brain's just not working the way it
I had a birthday recently, you know.
did. You?
I did. Beginning of September.
Wow. Dare you say how far up the...
I'm almost 30.
Almost 30. That's getting up there, you know. You know, once you leave your 20s, now talk
Don't
about
tell me
scary.
that. Don't tell me that.
Yeah, aging. Now that's scary, you know. That's even scarier than I think Night of the Living Dead.
You think?
Was
don't
the Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, was that done around the same time as this? Do you recall?
I think, I've never actually seen that one, but I think that's more in the early 70s.
'Cause
Probably not within, probably within a few years. I can
Yeah.
actually look it up because that movie is in this book.
Ah, because that was another
this
one
is
of
filmmaking
those.
on the fringe.
Yeah, that was another one of those kind of fringe, low budget, but very effective movies.
I haven't seen it.
You know, this movie was made for like $10.
Now, see, isn't Chainsaw Massacre more in the slasher vein?
Well,
than-
actually, it's a funny movie.
Is it really?
It really
I think
is.
I have heard that.
But it's very
I think I've
effective.
heard that.
But with Night of the Living Dead, again, it's more people being transformed. You don't know who to trust. There's even a little girl.
There are incredible interpersonal dynamics. I kept thinking, I took an advanced interpersonal communication class for a 3-week summer session, and we basically watched movies and analyzed the relationships in movies like Steel Magnolias and
Yeah.
Diner and all those other things, and like 12 Angry Men,
Yeah.
things like that. And I'm thinking, this would be a great movie to analyze the interpersonal dynamics,
Right.
group communication,
Yeah,
how the teams work together and basically disintegrate together as well.
right. That's what I do. I want to teach film and psychotherapy. You know, I think that would be great. But yeah, and the other thing about it, even little kids. You know, you got the little kid who got infected.
Yeah.
And if you can't be safe around the little kid, where can you be safe? I mean, so what he did is he took out all the stops. And just when you thought it was okay to take a breath and be okay, there's another thing coming at you.
Yeah, and it just kept coming.
Yeah.
Never ended.
Yeah. So it's a really good. Oh, so do you see what else he
What else
did?
has he done? Yes. I don't really know too many of these. There's always Vanilla, Season of the Witch,
Vanilla.
The Crazies.
Oh, The Crazies.
I've never even heard of that one.
Okay, forget it. He hasn't really done anything.
Martin, Donna, Creep Show. I've heard of Creep Show.
Creep Show.
Day of the Dead, Monkey Shines. I've heard of that one.
Monkey Shines, yeah.
Two Evil Eyes, and The Dark Half.
Okay, well, it looks like this was his real.
Yeah, I don't know.
He hit his peak right from the beginning.
Probably.
Right, but
He was a production assistant on North by Northwest, though.
Oh, well, there's something.
Yeah.
Work with the master. But this is a good Halloween movie because it's one of those kind of movies you crowd around and everyone sees and gets all creepy and everything.
Well, I think it depends on your age how much you appreciate it. Because one of our helpers back there was thinking it just was cheesy and hokey, but he's about 12, so.
Well, I'll tell you, you know what one of the most annoying things in the world is when you show your kids a movie that terrified you when you were a teenager and they spend the whole movie laughing, saying, Dad, I can't believe you were ever scared by this. That's very discouraging. I was depressed. I had to go on, 100 milligrams of Prozac daily for 6 months after my kids started laughing at my scary movies.
Oh, what were your scary movies?
Oh, well, The Thing was one of them, I remember. Let's
See, The Thing didn't scare me, but of course I'm watching it a long time later.
Right.
I didn't see it when it first came out, and I didn't have that point of reference.
Now, Halloween, the first Halloween, scared me to death when it first came out. It was like the granddaddy of all the slasher, psycho killer ones. Nothing like this had really ever come out, where he just, hit you and hit you again. And the claustrophobia of it and the enclosed places and,
Yeah, see, it was a long time before I saw Halloween, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate it for what it is, a low-budget slasher movie. But it didn't really scare me.
Yeah, see,
I think for fear purposes and psychological, I go with Night of the Living Dead. But Halloween is pretty good for what it was. It's John Carpenter.
Well, well, before we talk about Halloween, wait, is that next on the list?
That's next on the list.
Well, we should go to the clip then.
We should do that.
Let's take a look at the Halloween clip, and then we'll come back.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Now, what's the whole...
It happened in here. She was sitting right here. He could have seen us through this window. Standing on the lawn, he could have seen inside. You must think me a very sinister doctor. Oh, I do have a permit.
Seems to me you're just plain scared.
Yes. Yeah, I am. I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
What do we do?
He's been here once tonight. I think he'll come back. I'm gonna wait for him.
I still think I should notify the radio and television.
Great soundtrack.
John Carpenter did the soundtrack, too.
Yes, he did.
I'd actually read the musical credits.
Good. See, you're starting to, pick up on these things.
Learning.
These are good. Halloween was really one of the first movies to come out and say sex is bad. If you're going to have sex with people, someone's going to come and kill you. And which predated the AIDS epidemic by 5 or 6 years. So it was kind of interesting.
See, I just thought it was teenage hijinks.
Oh no, sex is bad. Clearly,
Is that what turned little Michael evil? Because his sister was screwing around?
His sister was having sex, and he was a little boy, and it made him crazy. And then
Made him really crazy.
Yeah, he spent the rest of the movie killing any other teenager who was having sex, which is every teenager except
Lori.
Jamie
Lee Curtis is one of her first roles.
And Jamie Lee should have been having sex throughout this movie, but
she was a bookworm, though.
She was.
So she wasn't the popular type. But all her friends were, so just kind of that middle road.
Yeah, so that's this was the first, like when you watch scary movies or Scream or all these others, they're all really
this is Grandpa
mining the gold mine that Halloween started. Yeah. And to watch it for the first time in a theater full of screaming kids.
Never had that experience. I never saw it in the theater.
Oh, everyone was terrified. Was screaming, no! It was great.
I just got that music in my head. That little piano thing, the theme.
Yeah.
That just keeps playing over and over again. Every time somebody's gonna get killed with a knife.
Right. Camera work is spectacular because you always have the feeling that someone's watching. The way the camera moves.
Point of view, yeah. He does point of view very well.
He really does, and he moves it along, and then the character will stop and turn toward the camera as if somebody is there.
It's much more noticeable. It was much more noticeable in Night of the Living Dead how points were done. It was almost more like Kubrick than Halloween. Halloween was a little more natural.
Yes, much natural. Yeah, out on the streets in Lovely, California or wherever. It looked like California.
They had more room to shoot.
Yeah, I guess.
It was in Illinois.
Was it in Illinois?
It was Illinois. Oh. They had the thing at the beginning that said Haddendock, Illinois.
Okay.
I can't talk.
Well, Night of the Living Dead, I mean, one of the things that makes these movies scary is the claustrophobic feeling, the thing that things are closing in on you, you have no room to breathe, no room to run to, that,
the tension.
You're there and you can't get away. Now, Night of the Living Dead really closed you in there
There was a lot of tension in Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
I didn't feel it as much in Halloween, and I didn't feel it at all in The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
No, because Legend of Sleepy Hollow is a whole other
Right. I don't even think that's a scary movie.
No, it's more of a period piece, actually.
Yeah.
Great atmosphere.
Decent atmosphere.
Oh,
I was expecting more. It's Tim Burton, so
yeah.
He did the Batman movies and Nightmare on Elm Street.
All that stuff.
Yeah, and Edward Scissorhands.
But to finish Halloween didn't really get claustrophobic until toward the end. Because it was more open in the closet space and the closed-in rooms. But you could see John Carpenter and how he was using space and light and lines and everything. It was just, he was really, you could see him coming into his own, even in something like this.
Yeah, I think this is really about the only John Carpenter movie I like, at least somewhat.
Did you see Attack on Precinct 13? I think it was called. That was his first one that predated this.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I didn't know anything that he'd done predated this.
John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah. What else has he done?
Big Trouble in Little... No, he didn't do that, did he?
I thought,
Big Trouble in
maybe...
Little China?
Yes, he did do Big Trouble in Little China. I remember we talked about it. I did like that.
Yeah, he's done a lot of good things.
The Fog. Escape from New York. I liked Escape from New York. I didn't like the LA version.
Yeah. The Fog is also very good. That's a really nice ghost story.
Memoirs of an Invisible Man was kind of cute with Chevy Chase and Daryl Hannah.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. But so
Starman, he did Starman.
Oh, Starman is excellent. But here we have him early on in his career doing a nice scary movie. And of course, Halloween is made for Halloween, so it's
true. The last thing I saw by him was Vampires.
Yeah,
which was bad. Which
is kind of like a Western for vampires or something.
I guess I was just very turned off by it.
Yeah. I thought it was okay. It didn't strike me all that much.
No.
But anyways, I guess the other thing we're noticing is how good directors cut their teeth on some of these horror movies, and then went on to make better and better stuff. But you know, this is where a lot of them got their start.
Yeah.
All right, so we have one more.
We have one more. We have Tim Burton's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Legend of Sleepy
Johnny
Hollow.
Depp and Christina Ricci.
Yes.
Directed by Tim Burton, who is very good with atmosphere.
He is.
Of course, they did a lot of adaptations to the Ichabod Crane
All right,
Legend of Sleepy Hollow story.
Who's that a walking down the street? Yeah, we
I don't
like
know that.
You know the cartoon version of Ichabod Crane?
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Oh.
Long time.
Yeah. Well,
But
it was
apparently,
a yearly favorite. Really.
But Ichabod's not a school teacher here. He's a cop.
It's a detective from New York City.
Constable.
Comes up to Sleepy Hollow to investigate
Well, he gets sent to Sleepy Hollow because they want to get rid of him
Right.
in New York. They're he's driving him nuts.
But a lot of interesting takes on organized religion.
Lots and lots of. Yeah.
I like that, actually. I'm a big fan. There's this great line, something hiding behind virtue, but it was a great line.
Yeah.
So there's
Some
a
of the
lot
most evil
about
things in life hide behind virtue, or something
right,
like that.
So let's get to the clip.
Let's do that.
And then we'll come back and we'll finish up our Halloween discussion.
All right.
The fourth victim, Jonathan Masbeth.
Yes, I see. And the head?
Taken.
Taken. Interesting. Very interesting.
What is?
In headless corpse cases of this sort, the head is removed to prevent identification of the body.
But we know this was Jonathan Masbeth.
Precisely. So why was the head removed?
Why?
Right. You have moved the body?
I did.
You must never move the body.
Why not?
Because. The stride is gigantic. The attacker rode Masbeth down, turned his horse, came back to clean the head. Yeah. There's a chemical reaction. It shows there was a powerful singular thrust to the neck. Interesting.
What is it?
The wound was cauterized in the very instant. As though the...
Yeah. And we're back. Boy, was that scary. See, this is what I really like about Tim Burton. I love the atmosphere. On the DVD of this and the special features, they built this town. And it was just incredible, but I love the town. I love the atmosphere of going upstate New York. I love the period. I love the idea of
cool.
everything. You know.
I mean, I like it better the second time. The first time I was a little disappointed, but when you talk about atmosphere in Tim Burton, I was expecting a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know of what, but I think just a little bit more of something, and it wasn't there. It was missing.
Oh, see, I really enjoyed this a lot. I
liked
loved it. You know.
I liked it.
It was a great ghost story. Christopher Walken.
Ghost story. Christopher Walken was really good in it.
The bad guy.
The Headless Horseman.
The monster, right?
Yeah. There was a lot of artistic license with the script and with the storyline.
It wasn't the cartoon.
No, it certainly wasn't the cartoon.
If you see this movie, don't go expecting to see the cartoon. It's very different.
Yeah. Much longer.
Yes, and it's not animated, so those are two things right there. Yeah, but no, I really enjoyed this. I like most everything Tim Burton does. I love Mars Attacks. I love the Batman stuff.
Mars Attacks was okay. I loved the Batman stuff. I liked Edward Scissorhands. I loved Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas, yeah.
How can we do a Halloween show and not do Nightmare Before Christmas?
Well, maybe we'll say that, well, are we going to have time to do more Halloween shows?
No, because this ends the 31st, then we have to go on to Thanksgiving.
Well, there's not a whole lot of Thanksgiving movies, are there?
No, but there are a few.
There's The Night the Turkey Died.
I don't know that one. It was Home for the Holidays.
Okay, one.
I'm sure there are other movies where people hang around and have a big meal and chat and.
Well, I was going to say while you were sleeping, but that's
Christmas.
Time. Right. But anyways, no, back to Halloween now.
It was one season at a time.
One season at a time.
I was getting ticked off driving around and seeing all the Halloween decorations up a week before October 1st.
Yeah. Well, mine are up.
Put
them up
it's
Sunday.
October 1st. Well, pushing it a little, but.
Well, I mean, you need a weekend day to get out there and get this stuff.
This is true.
But I thought this was a real nice ghost story. The kind of way I thought Stir of Echoes was a good ghost story.
I haven't seen Stir of Echoes yet.
The Changeling with George C. Scott, a haunted house movie, I thought was a real good ghost story. I think some movies are just a good ghost story, and that's what I thought about this. I thought it was just very, very nice. I know you didn't like it quite as much.
Not quite as much. Not quite as much. It just didn't have something, and a lot of the pagan references were just kind of off. So.
Yeah.
That kind of annoyed me a little.
Yeah, you're not into. You want your pagan references to be right on target.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make a pagan reference, for crying out loud, get it right, man.
Yeah.
All right, so listen up.
Yeah, definitely.
All you pagan reference people, get it right.
Yeah.
All right, so have we talked enough about Halloween?
I think we've talked enough about Night of the Living Dead and Halloween and Legend of Sleepy Hollow. But there are so many more great horror movies out there.
There are a lot of good ones. I particularly enjoy The Wolfman as a classic.
Really? What was the one Michael Landon was in? I Was a Teenage Werewolf?
I Was a Teenage Werewolf. That was
I don't know Wolfman.
The Wolfman.
I saw one of the Howling movies and I actually liked it. I think it was 4.
Now, The Wolfman is Lon Chaney Jr. Whoever's bitten by the werewolf and the moon is full. Okay.
See, Ray Harper's our custodian is a big horror fan, and I've got his copy of The Mummy right now. I need to watch.
The Mummy, all right.
He talks about Lon Chaney all the time.
Yeah, well, Lon Chaney and Lon Chaney Jr. Are really the people who really got the genre going. You know.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, whatever you watch, if you watch these or others, if it's Halloween, make it scary. Hope you enjoy it. And I guess we'll see you, next time we see you, we'll be doing some Thanksgiving stuff.
Yeah.
So, good. Stay scared. We'll see you.
Don't forget the popcorn.
That's right. Scary movie.
You should sing the Ichabod Crane.
All kids have trouble staying within the lines. After the 3rd grade, it could be a sign of a learning disability. With the right help, most kids go on to do well in school. Call now to help your child manage his learning disability. There's no reason to be held back.
I don't mean to be a rude guest, but when I was coming back from the bathroom, I noticed the lights were on in your bedroom. Since no one was in there, I went to turn them off. That's when I noticed that you'd also forgotten to turn off your video game. You play video games?
I find them challenging. Please don't waste energy.